Do you know the secret of independent women? Stay with me and you'll find out. Hi, anybody. I want to paint you a picture. It's 2018, 2019. It's summer. It's pretty. Prices are high. And you live in Bucharest as a student and you don't have money. Minimum wage 550 euros, 600 euros, and just the rent is 250. This was what was happening, and in that time it was everywhere. Video chat ads. I know if you're from US or Canada or like North America, you probably don't know a lot about video chat. So I am here to share my knowledge. In here, it's pretty common, and we have studios that basically just promote you and take half of your money. So I want to tell you the story of my friend. Still have a really close friend that, because of some not so nice circumstances, she had to go and do that. Now, I want to talk about it because I have an unpopular opinion, since I know a lot more about the industry. I also have someone from the family, like an aunt that had this job, so to say. She had this job when I was like a kid. So it was really interesting to learn from her and find out from her some things, and then from my friend, because they were quite a few years apart. I want to first and foremost say that, again, as you don't know, in here, now I don't know if it's Romania, it kind of sounds like it's the Balkan area. It's everywhere. We kind of made it legal, as in legally legal, to have this job. Before, I think we did that, I would say around 7-8 years ago. Before that, it was a gray area. So it wasn't legal, but it wasn't illegal either. It was like a gray area. So ever since it got legal, it just, it was everywhere. Like, you want to play a YouTube video and you don't have premium. You get an ad. What ad? Was a video chat studio ad. You walk down the street and you see this pretty pink car just parked somewhere with the name of the studio and the phone number. And it was everywhere. And the reason I started the video like this is because one of them actually had an ad that it's legendary. And when I say that, I mean it. It was like a meme in our country for the longest time, because that was how the ad was starting. Do you know the secret of independent women? And it was fun. It was funny. The ads were funny, but they also showed like this like picture of perfect life. And I did notice a lot of people that never worked in that industry, or they don't know anyone who worked in that industry. You have the first thing you think of is like, oh, you go and you like get undressed and you get paid, and it's like such an easy job, and like it's the easy way basically of like making money. And I thought so too. Honestly, I thought so too. Because to be fair, my aunt was kind of like, that's kind of the picture she kind of painted for me, was like, and that's what the studios do. Like, that's the picture they paint. It's a lot of the ads were like crazy. The things that they would promise, it was like insane. It's like testimonials of this girl that just started, and now she can afford to live alone and like get whatever she wants. And in a year I bought myself this BMW, and in 2 years I bought myself my own house with like cash, not with a loan. And I was like, how? Literally how? So I want to talk about it because I want first and foremost to like kind of get the stigma out of the way a little bit. It You're not better than someone who has done that or who does that, and they're not better than you. Although I would actually say that they might be a little bit better. I know when my friend started, she looked on, well, I also helped a little bit, and I looked around for like on the websites of all the studios to see what they promised. It was this like generic thing. All the studios would promise you 2,000 euros guaranteed first 3 months. And I have to say, it was interesting, it was enticing. It was like, it's not bad. Again, the average wage would be kind of 650 euros. That would be the average. And obviously, you see that is what you get monthly. And then you see this thing, and it's like, oh, you will give you first 3 months, we give you 2,000 euros guaranteed. And it was really interesting. So my friend went to the interview. Interview is like an overstatement because there is no interview. What's the interview? Hello, you're pretty. Do you know English? Yes. Okay, cool. Let's go. But it was really interesting because the 3 months guaranteed were actually, well, they were 3 months guaranteed, but you know, in order for you to get the 3 months guaranteed, you had to work for 12 hours a day, 5 days a week. And technically, that is illegal. It is illegal. It's actually illegal. But for some reason, it doesn't really matter. I don't want to get into the legality of things simply because I don't really know exactly a lot of like law and stuff. So I don't want to talk out of my bum. But basically, you're not allowed to work for 12 hours a day more than 3 days consecutive in Romania. And basically, they were asking you to work 12 hours a day every day for 5 days. But again, that is a lot, so you could have split them however you wanted. The point was to have the number of hours at the end of each week. And she went to a studio that had a makeup artist, so you would have to go there earlier to get the makeup. And that obviously, if you live in Bucharest, anywhere you go, it takes like 30 minutes at least. So that's at least 1 more hour going and coming back from work. So it's like a lot more than half of your day at work. So I want to say that first and foremost, in order for them to give you the guaranteed paycheck, you had to work a lot. And it was really interesting to find out that it's actually not that easy. You don't think of these things, unless you go through them or someone that you know goes through them and tells you. So first and foremost, a lot of people that are on those websites are interesting, I would say. She used to get, well, she used to get when she was working. She got a lot of weird requests. A lot of people would curse at you, would cuss you, would insult you. She was there for 3 months. I saw her going from like being this really cute, lively person to this really depressed, anxious person in 3 months. But it was like it was a really sudden decline in her mental health. It was not fun. It was really good to know what she's going through. Um, the people there are really awful, and that was her main problem. The people that are online, basically, um, they really dig into your brain. It was not fun, and it was really draining for her. She actually tried to do the 12 hours, and she couldn't. She did it the first month, and then she decided to go with her percentage, which was 50%. And it was a lot better, but she still had to work 10 hours a day, 5 days a week, if she wanted 50%. Otherwise, she would get 40%. The studios really rip you, like they steal most of the money that you're making. And the people online are pretty awful. There's also like good people for sure. I know she was telling me about a guy that had nothing. Like he never asked for anything from her. The only thing he would do is go in the private session, which I think it's pretty obvious what it means. And in the private session, basically you get paid by the minute. And he would stay in the private session. He would go in the private session and tell her, do whatever you want. Like he didn't care. He was really nice to her, and basically 30 minutes he would give her like a break. The other thing that I thought it was like, what the hell, is the fact that they're also trainers. But the trainers, they don't train you really. They are out like somewhere in the office or somewhere, sitting in front of a computer, and they are staring in your screen. Basically, they see what you do, they see who writes what to you, what you write to whoever, and all that, and then they just go at you and like, hey, tell him this, hey, do this. And I think honestly, if it would have been me, I feel like I would have been out, because I would be like, okay, people on the internet is like, okay, I guess, because obviously I don't really care that much, because obviously you are gonna get hate regardless. If you post yourself on the internet, you will get hate at some point, and I don't care about that much. But I think knowing someone that works with you, basically can see everything you say, can see everything you do, it's really weird, I would say. I don't know. For her, it didn't bother her that much, but it did bother her the fact it was her first job of like in the video chat industry, and it was really, she didn't really know much. So when she, in the first few days when she would get a chat, the trainers would start writing instead of her, or would text her and be like, hey, tell him this, hey, do this. And it's really uh she was like, oh my god, it's so hard to like talk to this person, this guy, because most of the time it's a guy, and at the same time talk with the trainer and not seem weird. I know in the beginning she was really interested. She thought it was like a cool adventure. She was like, could be fun. I could learn something about myself, and she did learn something about herself that she can't do it, which is really fair. I know we were talking a lot in that period of time, and she would send me like photo. I don't know how she took photos, because you were not allowed to use your phone. But she would send me photos of the conversations she would have with like the guys on the internet, and I was constantly speechless. It was, yeah, I felt humiliated, and there wasn't me there. And it was completely disrespectful. Like there's no respect at all, obviously. And I feel like that takes a toll on you. It did on her. um and the money, because I feel like everyone wants to know about the money. Okay, so the money, I oh, I forgot. I also had another, like, it wasn't a friend. She was like an acquaintance. She was a friend of a friend, actually a friend of a friend that worked in the same studio, but I never talked to her. Uh, but I talked to her to recommend my friend, basically. And I talked to her in that with the acquaintance. I talked to her that one time and I was like, how is the studio? Is it good? Blah, blah. And then I was like, hey, I have this friend. She would like to try this. And when I talked to the acquaintance, I asked about the money, because obviously this is a whole thing, like a whole thing. It's a whole, the curiosity when it comes to this industry, the main thing is money. How much money do you make? You make a lot. My friend made, because she did the 50%, and she made the 2 months, she did the percentage. She made like 2,000 euros, a little bit over 2,000 euros. That was what she got after the percent. So basically, she made like over 4,000 euros and then split in half. So it was, she was a little bit average. She talked with a lot of her friends, and also somehow the girls really brag about the money they're making. There was a girl that was literally making 7,000 euros every month. Another thing I want to talk about, and this goes right in with this girl with 7,000. Another thing I want to talk about is it's not just the job. Basically, you get that job, you're a content creator, but a different type of content creator, and you don't work for yourself, because you don't. And there are some of the websites that you would be on. Some of them have an app for your phone, and the trainers would constantly text and constantly kind of harass, I would say harass, my friend, because the social media, the app one of the websites had, it was literally like a social media. You could post stories, you could text the people you've talked to on, like, at work, and kind of they had to pay for any text they would send back. And for stories, some of them could be free and some of them you could charge people for them. So the studio whether they were asking her to post at least 4 stories every day, 2 of them to be free and 2 of them to get some money for with the charge. And every day to text, I don't know, 10 people, like around 10 people. And again, this was not during weekdays. No, they were asking you to do this every single day, regardless if you were working that day or not. You could be on a holiday. I know. So why I'm saying that this goes into with the girl that was making 7,000 euros, because she wasn't making 7,000 euros at work. She was going home and then start to text the guys she talked to. She would constantly post stories, and she would constantly actually get some of the guys. There was the option of having a video call, and she would actually get some of the guys to actually call her. And the price per minute, when you're like on your phone and you're at home and not in the studio, it was higher. Like you were making a lot more money if you would get them to call you when you would be home. So a lot of the trainers were pushing the models to do that, which again, I know my friend got really overwhelmed because it was a lot. Obviously, it's like completely different than what you would think. You would think you just go there and you talk and be like, oh, hello. No, it's not like that. It's a lot harder. You meet all the people who have problems, mental problems, sexual problems, people that are frustrated with their life. You are first and foremost a therapist. You actually are, basically, without a diploma. You have to listen to everyone, and you have to understand that everyone is going through something. No one that's on those websites, no one is like okay mentally, and you have to understand that and kind of detach. It's really hard. I saw my friend trying to detach herself and didn't do a good job. I'm happy that I didn't do it. I honestly was like talking to her when, like, during that time, and I was thinking, like, Jesus Christ, this sounds like hell, because you have to be at work and you have to be like perfect, and then you go home and then you have to like start taking photos, text the guys, and get someone to call you. It sounds horrible. Honestly, it sounds like you don't have a life anymore. But I guess it depends on what you want, because again, she didn't do that. She was constantly scolded that she's not posting stories, she's not texting the guys. She would text the guys at work, like she would go to work like an hour before she had to go online and just text them, all of them, like 10 minutes or 20 minutes before she would go on shift, because she didn't want to like bring home the work, other than on this, obviously, other than talking to me and probably other friends about it. But she didn't want to like work at home, and she made 2,000 euros a month, which again in Romania it's still a lot of money. But that girl was making 7,000 euros. So it depends how strong you are mentally, and how well you know who you are. I guess you will get cursed, you will get cussed, you will get insulted, you will get like just berated by the people, and you have to know who you are in order for that to not affect you. But even so, my friend knew who she was, but who she was, and she is a person that doesn't like someone insulting her. Like, she accepts any criticism, but if you insult her just for the fun of it and you say something that's not true, she will get just really angry. So you can imagine how hard it was to like keep it together. I can only imagine. It depends how willing you are to talk and do some things. But I want to say that at the end of the day, it's not so easy. You go there and you're being pretty and cute and like, oh my god, oh thank you. It's not like that. It's not the lives that you see on TikTok. It's not like that. You have to put that persona, obviously, but you have to put that persona up as people not hate you, because that's not really hate. They are just trying to bring you down, and they just try anyway, like any way they can find, they will try it. So there's the trainers that they keep their eyes on you at all times. I know the months my friend was in the studio, you get a break. Obviously, you get a lunch break, and she would go to eat her lunch break in their kitchen, because apparently they had a kitchen, and a trainer would come every single time. A trainer would come as she was eating her lunch and like, oh, how is it, do you like it, which is cute, but at the same time, ma'am, I'm trying to eat. It's not an easy job, and I guess that the trainers should know. And I can't get away from it for 30 minutes as I'm eating my lunch. It's not it could be worth it depending how you are as a person, I guess. But I just want to say that for the people who were like me or who are like me, how I used to be, and just think, oh, it's like this easy job and you just go there and you're being pretty and you get like thousands of euros. You do get thousands of euros and you have to be pretty for sure, but that's not all it is. And that's not even the most important part, because it doesn't really matter how pretty you are. What matters the most is to know how to keep a conversation, because to like get your clothes off and stuff like that, it's really easy. Literally anyone can do it. The thing that not everyone can do is to drag on the conversation, because again, in the private session, which is where they make money, that's where the guys would come in and be like, okay, take off everything. And if you're like, okay, take off, you get paid by the minute. So if you take and you throw everything, you're like, okay, cool, you're not gonna get money, right? So you have to know how to kind of keep him there, like, hey, I'm gonna give you what you want, but like, hey, can you tell me your name, stuff like that. It's hard. I know that we were trying, like me and my friend were trying to like come up with things that would be interesting or like little lines that would be really interesting in the beginning of the conversations she would have in the private session, to kind of try to like stall, because a lot of them go and they're like, they want their money's worth, but the less money the better. But yes, this thing was everywhere. I haven't seen anything anymore. Now, I don't know if it was me who was seeing it everywhere, because I've seen a lot of people talking about it. So I'm assuming it wasn't just me. But it could also have been that I saw a lot of their ads because I was their demographic. I was like a 22, 23-year-old woman living in Bucharest, that is the demographic you want for a video chat studio job. I do want to say that I will leave you with this. Any questions that you have, I will answer if I know the answer. If not, I will find the answer and tell you the answer, because again, I do have two people that I can ask. But I want to say that if there's something that you leave this video with, I want you to understand that it's not an easy job, and it's less sex work than you would actually think. It's more therapy work, and it's not something that anyone can do. So I honestly think that those girls really earn their money, given what they have to go through and the people they have to deal with on a constant basis. I know, quick parenthesis before I leave you guys. I know my friend had actually a guy that was coming back every day. And he was the one that was making her basically the most amount of money. Like most of the money she was making because of him. And that's what they want from, like, in a studio, they want you to get a few regulars. And she did. And that guy was the worst guy that you could find. And she wanted to like get rid of him. Like, she wanted to be more frank, more honest with him, to kind of get him to stop coming. And the trainers were not happy with it. And the guy was also oblivious and didn't get the point. So, but basically, if you get someone that's making you money, the trainers don't care if that guy is killing you mentally and psychologically. They don't care. They care that you're making money, and that guy is the one that's making you money. So it is what it is. You get that money, you go to therapy, okay? If you have any questions, I'm willing to answer. I want to get rid of this whole stigma because things are not as people think they are most of the time, and especially with this, because I know, because I've had people that have worked in that industry. I would like to share some light. Yes, I did talk with my friend and got her consent to talk about it, so it's okay. Any questions, I am more than happy to answer, because I do want to try to make people understand how this industry is and not just what you see, because what you see is the bling bling, you know, the money, the cars, the houses, and pretty clothes and pretty makeup and all of that, but that's not what it actually is. So thank you for chatting with me this Sunday, and I will see you next time.